Right. A very good afternoon to Ramon Alvarez-Pedrosa, Head of IR of Repsol. It's such a pleasure to have you here with us today. Let me start by saying, first of all, congratulations to the fantastic achievement in the Europe Executive Team Survey 2020, where you achieved a top first ranked position and a clean sweep in your sector. So many congratulations to that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
What do those research rankings mean to you, to your management, and to the IR team?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start by saying that we are very honored to receive this award. And in particular, I'm representing all the people in the company that have been receiving it. We are very proud. We are, it's a award that we are always looking for when the results are there. Also, we participate as providers of our own votes. I must say that all the team is very excited, and I will say that this year probably has been more excited than ever because of the situation we were living there, and specifically in our sector that, as you know, oil and gas was not one of the favorite sectors during this pandemic. So coming to the office and seeing that we have been receiving an award, although, for instance, our share price was down 2/3 sometime in the year, make us give a fresh air to continue our job. And I will say that also that is very important for our CEO and our CFO that are at the forefront of our investor relations planning communication. So it has been very well welcome, and this year has gave us a lot of energy to continue with our work.
Very good. You've just mentioned the crisis, and it obviously has been a very unprecedented, unusual year for everybody. Share with us a little bit about the practices and measures that you have taken to make sure that you have alignment with investors and engage with them continually.
Well, I must say that this was an unprecedented crisis. Nobody could foresee what would mean. Having to be locked and not coming to the office from one day to the other. So I must say that anyhow, all the pre-planning process and works we have done have worked very well. It is very important to drill and to plan and to make and to think about what is not thinkable. Everything worked perfectly, so we will be able to continue our engagement with our key stakeholders, considering that all the companies have to prepare in 3 weeks a contingency plan and communicate it to the market. So I will say that being prepared, make drills, plan and expect the unexpected, make us able to continue our transparent dialogue with all the investor community.
Yes, and we've all very quickly adopted technology and are now, communicating via various different platforms. IR digitization has obviously been a buzzword before the crisis had happened. Share with us a little bit about what you're doing internally with regards to IR digitization, and what are the different tools and platforms that you're using that makes your work so effective?
Well, I mean, digitalization has been with us for the last 5 years, and in our industry and our sector has been very important to be more efficient and reduce the break-evens. But this crisis has accelerated their implementation. So obviously today, all the communication like this one we are having is digital. And there is a need to use efficient digital platforms to communicate, but also have tools to provide data and make more efficient the use of that data. So this is the area where we think we will need more powerful tools for the future, and specifically considering that there are different standards and different digital platforms, we think that there is a need that there is a convergence between these digital platforms, and that they are all compatible between themselves, because sometimes we feel that, or we find that it is not easy to combine and to make them talk to each other. As I mentioned before, we have a huge digitalization program within our company, and IR is part of that, and we will hope to benefit from that. And as I said, having more powerful tools, both for communicating, but also for data analysis and data mining.
We can't obviously talk about best practices in investor relations without discussing ESG. Repsol has historically, for a long time, had a sustainability investor day as well, which was very well received by investors. Share with us a little bit your experience, where you're at in terms of your ESG journey, and what are the efforts and events or activities that you're doing around ESG?
Well, we are proud to say that ESG is part of our DNA. It's not just a post. It's part of our day-to-day job. There is no strategic decision that is taken in this company that has no analysis the angle of ESG. And today, ESG is just business as usual. We are very proud to say that that's why 33% of our institutional investors base is investing with ESG criteria. As you mentioned, we have held an ESG day for the last 6 years. And now we are not just embedded that in our day-to-day work. So Repsol was the first oil and gas company that announced in December 2019 that we were going to be carbon neutral by 2050. And the last strategic plan we presented to the market last December clearly established what is the path, not only to 2050, because today probably talking about 2050 seems very far, but with clear intermediate objectives, what we're going to do in 2025, 2030, 2040, which are our targets and our KPIs for getting that ambition. So I will say that we have more than 100 meetings with ESG institutions during the year with a clear and open dialogue, and we are very proud of that.
Very well. We've recently conducted a poll with investors and corporates to understand what the sentiment is in the market with regards to activism. And it turns out that investors expect activism to increase over the next 6 to 12 months period. And the flip side to that is that corporates don't seem to have a strategy or an approach in place to actually respond to such a threat. How you potentially mitigate that kind of risk at your end?
We don't think activism is a threat. And let me elaborate on that. I believe that something that our shareholders want and go for is not a threat for the company, it's an opportunity to be better. So if at the end of the day there is a shareholder with ideas to improve the value of the company, to create value to our shareholders, I mean, this is something we have to look at it, to have a constructive dialogue and not think that is a threat, but there is an opportunity. And the best way to be prepared is to have clear plans to deploy all the value your company has and to have clear strategies to get that. And if there is somebody out there that have ideas they believe could crystallize more value to the company, that's good, because we are being paid to create more value to our shareholders. So in my opinion, it's not a threat. It will be an opportunity. And clearly, we are obviously prepared. We make analysis of the different changes in shareholder base. But at the same time, we have very clear in mind that if there is the opportunity to crystallize more value for the company, it will be very welcome. So I think it's more an opportunity than a threat.
Very well. We've just talked about IR digitization. We've also talked about ESG. We've had a few years ago MiFID as a regulatory requirement impact the investor relations landscape. Where do you see other trends in IR for the future, and how do you see that potentially be a challenge or an opportunity?
Well, clearly, as you mentioned, this pandemic has made us lost the face-to-face communication. But the digital part of it has also its advantages, which is you are much more efficient. For instance, in our plans this year, we are going to attend mostly all the conference of our industry that are being held by the sell side institutions that in the past probably we will be able just to reach 50-60% just in question of time. At the same time, Obviously, the access to management is more easy because we all have more time. And looking to the future, clear trends, we hope to resume personal relationship, but I think that is going to be much more selective. So there will be less face-to-face meetings, but at the same time, investors will be much more demanding on that. So probably that is something we're going to see and hope to see. And as you mentioned, MiFID II is clearly that we are on the corporate access side, we are much more being accessed direct by investors. So it requires us to change our mindset. And obviously, the sell side is very important. It will continue to be very important, but we will see more and more direct engagement with investors and also passive investors that are being probably passive on the financial side, but active on sustainability. So I would say that probably is something we're going to see in the next 2 to 3 years.
Very well. You've obviously worked for Repsol for a very long time already in different roles and functions, and have recently moved into the IR space about 3 years ago. Ramon, perhaps you can share with us, what are your top tips now, having had that experience in IR? What are the absolute must-haves to have such a successful IR team and function and program that you're running?
Well, I think that the must-have more important is to have a very efficient and knowledgeable team, an experienced team. And fortunately, that was my case. So Repsol teams has been obviously recognized in past editions of this award, is very well recognized, because we always look to have direct, transparent, and quick relationship and answers to our stakeholder base. So we have a policy of responding in less than 24 hours to any question we receive. And frankly speaking, we are very transparent. So if in a meeting we don't know the answer, instead of trying to get out of the situation, we boldly recognize that we don't have the answer and that we will come back. So I would say that thinking twice what you have to answer and recognizing that you don't have the answer and you come back is part of our day-to-day way of embracing this work. And for sure, as I said, the team is very important. Clear internal communication channels, because obviously all the information is in the company, but you need to get the flow to it. And clear communication to top management and getting the compromise of the top management, because they are the first front office of the company, the CEO, the CFO, for sure.
Yes, very well. We'll now switch gear, Ramon, if we may, and on a light and more personal note, go through a quick question round. First of all, name a historic person that you would like to meet, and what would you ask them?
Well, I mean, there are several, but the ones that I will recall now probably will be Cristobal Colon, you know. And probably what I will ask him is, what were you thinking when you start your journey on your adventure? Did you really know that you were reaching somewhere, reaching the Indias as you may want it, or you were just out of your mind? Because I mean, it's considering the time and the media and the technology they had under today's standards, we will be completely a mad adventure.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have a favorite singer or band?
Yes, I have several, but if I have to pick one, I will say Eagles, and after Eagles, Don Henley.
Okay. And a favorite quote from a movie that you use in regular life?
Well, I remember Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca saying to the pianist, play it again, Sam. And probably that is something I like to say when I hear something which is funny or which is interesting. That will say that probably is the quote.
Very good. And Ramon, what do you do to relax?
But can I be politically incorrect?
Please.
So to me, a white, good Cuban cigar, smoking it is the way I relax the most. But if you need to cut this answer when you edit this interview, I don't blame for you.
No, I think that's absolutely perfectly fine. Everybody has their vices, right? So
Yeah.
fantastic. And a resolution for 2021 or a personal objective that you have, Ramon?
Well, probably to cultivate more your spiritual part, and that is something you forgot when you are very in day-to-day corporate life, and trying to find ways to return to society and to people which has less means to live, trying to give them something back. So probably finding an NGO or a way to collaborate with people that is in this society is not on our same situation, probably.
Very good. Well, I hope it works out. Ramon Alvarez-Pedrosa, thank you so much for your time and for this interview. It's been an absolute pleasure. And again, congratulations on the fantastic achievement of you and your team in the Europe Executive Team Survey 2020. Many thanks and all the best for this year.
Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure for me. Thank you.